Great morning. This morning I got up and read that there was this big die-off of birds, biggest one they've seen, due to a um, hot water spot out in the ocean, and it was like 1 million seabirds died. It's causing this conflict out there. So what we got underneath of the foundation is, things are getting hung up. We need to see from a different perspective in working together, putting things together. We need some temperance in the way that we are taking care of our waterways and those things. Above it, Gaia, Empress, that which is always giving to us, and I like that it's in the sea here. We need to take a bird's eye view, get above the situation, because this is dire. Okay, this is dire. This is something that needs to be addressed. Going into it, this is rapidly cutting, changing, and it's hanging up. It's binding. It's binding the birds, the fish in the ocean. I mean, all of these things are going to be affected. It's going to affect the people too if we don't get a handle on this. And this is changing too rapidly. Okay, very strong. So what we have going forward is they have made totally wrong choices. They've made, this is like Trump. He says, yeah, go ahead and dump the things. We don't need the damn EPA. Okay, this is all of the nonsense. The Seven of Cups, these are all those wrong choices, and it is bringing death. I mean, in this case, it's literal death by the choices that they are making. So I asked, what do we need to do? Well, it says right away, we need to look at an opportunity to reevaluate, need to get out of the devil, this egotistical thing and drama, or else we are going to have major problems, tower moment, when it comes to our oceans, and it comes to, we're having this with all sorts of species and all sorts of things. We have the fires that are going on, the worst weather patterns. We have bees that are being affected because of the toxins they're putting out there. If we lose the bee population, we lose our food, because things have to be, the bees will pollinate, and without the bees there will be no pollination of the trees and the flowers and these things. So these are things that we need to make better choices. What it's saying is you need to make better choices. The choices you are making, and it's in this fantasy realm of not looking at it realistically, or not looking at these things realistically. They're just making these choices to think, oh, it's not going to affect us, okay? Nothing's going to happen. Well, it is, and it is happening, and it's happening more and more. So it is imperative that we get ones like Trump out of office, because they have no regards for anything. They've been doing that fracking stuff, which is really causing problems. Underground, you can't keep taking out and not putting back. So really, we need to investigate Hermit, we need to look deeper into this. Okay, we need to guard and protect, okay, the environment. We need to start taking new opportunity, putting new things into place to protect it. Yeah, and we need to take a really strong stance outwardly, not just inwardly. We need to take action. We can't just walk away. You can't just walk away. Okay? Now, there is room for hope, so that's good. We have the star. There is room for hope. In this case, I think it's hope. I don't think that's usually my card for Donald Trump, but it's hope. But we need to really get on it, get people in place that can take an opportunity out of wisdom on how to move forward to make this better. It is possible, but we have got to, we're facing some loss. There is some loss, but we haven't lost everything. You do have some things still there that you can build on and grow with, so that needs to be done soon. Okay, we need to put the efforts in right away. Quit arguing about it. Okay, or if you're going to argue, you need to fight for your environment and reevaluate these things. And look at what you're doing before. It's not always just about money. Okay, you want the wish fulfilling thing, you want affluence, then you need to take care of your environment. You need to put it first. Okay, yeah, it's time to stand up, start speaking out, and start putting in place beneficial things if you're going to make your way through it. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to leave this here. I mean, this is something we can't ignore. And we can't get in a woe is me and we're doomed scenario, because then you do nothing and you will be doomed. Okay. There is, we can turn things around, but we need to get serious on it, and we need to start working on it right away. There is no time for playing and for suffering these fools that are in the White House that are saying, EPA, we don't care about that environment. Just throw the toxins in the ocean, not a problem. They're getting rid of the thing on Obama for the children, for the, healthy diet. Get rid of it. We don't care about that, Okay. We just care about if they're born or not. We just care about abortion. But once they're here, we don't give a rat's ass about them having a healthy diet or healthy climb. Could care less. They're just bodies, okay? I mean, things need to really rapidly change. We need to get a handle on things and start going forward. This is a beautiful planet, and it's getting ruined day by day by day by these guys that are just, all they see, they don't see further than the end of their nose. All they see is if they can get a more luxurious car, a bigger yacht, okay, more money in the bank, and I don't get it. They can't spend 1/4 of what they have in their lifetime. Why do they have to be so greedy? Well, it just hit me why. Because they're an empty hole and nothing will fill it. Nothing will ever fill the hole that is in their soul. These people are, they have, like I said, they have nothing to go on. They are failed individuals. They are not happy within themselves, and they think the more items they have, it's going to bring them happiness, but it doesn't. So it's a never-ending cycle until they get situated and happy within themselves and their own being, okay, they will continue to try to collect all this stuff to the detriment of the planet. Okay. So this is yet again another time for a wake-up call. Just like all the stuff that's going on now is a wake-up call. Okay, are you going to follow and things are polarizing, you're going to follow the path of ego and me, I want, my, okay? Don't care about anything else, anyone else, not my problem. Well, it's going to be your problem. With the more these weather patterns get worse, it's going to become your problem. So don't wait till it becomes your problem, because it eventually will, okay? Need to start working on these things now. Get people in the government that have some foresight, that have a plan to make things better, rather than the only plan they have is to line their own pockets and greed and just empty out the coffers of the U.S. and leave it to somebody else's problem. And that's what they've done time and time again. The Republicans, the Repugly Uglies, they get in. Okay, like Trump, he's going to solve the deficit. No, now we've got a bigger deficit than we've ever had. Ever had, and people are still applauding him. What is wrong with these people? And then Trump gets out, you get a Democrat in that's trying to fix the thing and bring the deficit down, and then they want to blame him for the problems people are going through because he's actually having to make people accountable to try to drag us out of the mess with these fare thee well people that go in before to just talk a bunch of BS and hot air and get us in ever increasing difficulties, and then dump it in somebody else's lap and then blame them as they're trying to clean up the mess that's been left behind. Okay, this is an ongoing pattern. This is a pattern I've seen for quite some time. Republicans get in, make all these big promises, get us more in debt. It was under the Republicans that we had the big housing market fail. Remember that? The banks were giving loans to people that couldn't afford it. We had the big crash of the market. That was due to your lovely Republicans that you're all sitting there clapping for and saying they're fabulous, okay? Then the Democrats come in and try to shore it up, okay? Make hard choices, and then you get pissed off at them. Republican comes in, and again the same nonsense. Talk it up, big talk. He gives the big tax break to the wealthy, okay? People are losing their farms because of his big trade deals, because he's so brilliant in the trade, okay? People are losing their farms. Remember, he come in, Mexico's going to pay for the wall. Well, now it's not Mexico. Everybody here is going to pay for his stupid Fakaka wall. Okay? People need to get a clue. It's amazing. And how can they allow a program on like Fox and call it news when it's nothing more than a spin cycle? The ones that are out there like this, Rush Limbaugh, Jeannie Pirro, all of these ones are so rabid, and the only thing they care about is money, lying, just putting out the worst crap. And sometimes when you go through some places, there is not anything that counteracts it. That's one thing I found driving across the U.S. In the Bible Belt, these are the only ones they hear. ones like Rush Limbaugh, or these crazy, crazy pastors, ministers of 666, okay? These things that are supposed to be Christian ministers, which are absolutely from the pits of hell, and that's all they hear. I've heard some of those ones driving across the U.S. in the Bible Belt, these ones that are from the absolute pits of hell, just spewing out the worst garbage I have ever heard. And they think because they say they are a minister, they are a person of God, speaking truth, and it's nothing but lies. Okay? Oh, if Trump loses, oh my God, Christians, you're all going to be killed. You're going to be, I've heard, you can't believe everything I've heard. Just absolute nonsense. And rather than telling people to fear not, it's all about revving up more fear. Have more fear, have more fear, have more fear. You have to have Trump in there, or else you better be fearful. Where does any of this correlate with what Christ said? Okay? Yes, I know lately I've been having to get more Christian oriented in speaking, but the majority of people here are Christian. Okay? Now, it doesn't matter if it's Christian, Hindu, whatever, all comes down to the same, the morality, looking for God. There's only one God. I don't give a rat's ass what name you put on it, or what type of practices you do to find it. As long as you are trying to find God and you are living a moral life, it doesn't mean like I see with these ones. That's why I keep calling it the Bible according to 666. Satan's spin on the Bible, the ego's spin on the Bible, that these so-called preachers take things out of context and spin it to where it bears no reality. These good Christians have never read the Bible. They just listen to what these guys are hawking, or want to convince themselves that what they are saying, because it feeds their ego a little better, okay? Gives them license to behave badly. It's truly, these are the end times. When I've started reading and studying the Bible so many years ago, I was like, stuff is never going to happen. And then you see all of these things, and I didn't realize just how absolutely bankrupt. Now, I left the Christian organized church quite some time ago because I was seeing, just this nonsense coming in. And it's just gotten worse and worse and worse, to where I have to say now that it's the Bible according to Satan, 666, the father of lies, spinning it, wolves in sheep's clothing that are just, these preachers that are preaching money and send me your money, when God needs this big, huge edifice. No, God is in the rocks, the trees, the thing. All of this belongs to God. Why does he need some miserable building? Okay? And they robbed the people blind. And the churches, rather than, having these donations and you keep it and you help out your people in the church, what they should be doing with these tithes are helping the parishioners in their church that need help. They're not doing jack for them. Okay? They're not doing anything for them. That's what the tithe should be. You give of your abundance. So when the times are low and you don't have, you give it back to the people. But no, these preachers are out there buying bigger cars and this and that, and just, stealing people blind. And the parishioners that need the help, they're not getting help. It's just, I look at what has gone on in this country, it's unbelievable how they have taken the message of Christ and turned it into a manifesto for ego and Satan's lies. The father of lies is what they follow now. Okay? And this is why in the Revelations, all the warnings to the churches and saying in the end times, it'll be amazing if anybody has any faith any longer. Okay? Well, this is why. They've got people revved up that think white supremacy is okay. It's Christian. It's not Christian. Okay? Christ was not a Christian. I hate to be the bearer of bad tidings, but Christ did not come to start a new religion. He came to be a reformer of Judaism. Okay. Oh my goodness. And there's nothing in the Bible that says you need to put the ones that Christ came to first and they rejected him, that you put them on a pedestal. There's nothing there that says you need to put these Jewish factions in Israel on a pedestal when they are doing such nasty negative things. There's nothing there that says to do that. Okay? Deniers of Christ. There's nothing there that says, that you need to sit there and put on a pedestal the ones that reject Christ and his message. Okay? But, that's one of the hallmarks of being a good Christian, is that you're supportive of Israel in the midst of whatever. Okay? May I remind people, it's Israel and the Arab countries that are going to, that it says will start the next world war. Okay? So to sit there and prop it up and fuel their fires is total ignorance. Okay? Now some of them are believing very falsely, if they do this, it will cause Christ to come back sooner. Well, they don't want Christ to come back. Trust me on this. With the actions they've done, they will not want to see Christ. They will not want to see truth, because Christ is going to look at it and say, I never knew any of you. Who are you? Well, we prophesied in your name. We did this, we did. I don't know you. Get behind me. Okay? Those that are last will be first, and those that are first will be last. Okay? So all you good Christian preachers that have all your money now, you will be last, the end of the line, begging for scraps at the end. Okay? Just wish that people would start to wake up, would start to delve deeper into what was being taught. What are the truths? The truth doesn't change. The truth is eternally the same. Circumstances and dramas change. New soap opera, but it's the same struggle between light versus dark, between ego versus, surrender. Okay. And these so-called self-made men who justify all the illegalities that they're doing to prop up their egos, there is nothing surrendered there at all. Okay? They don't care about humanity. They don't care about anything except for saving their own asses. Okay? So, people, don't lose heart. In the end, like the Bible says, the lion will lay down with the lamb. We're going to go through really, really trying times, and I'm sorry to sound like the preacher today. I did start out, as I am a registered minister. I did start out at, actually I do know the Bible inside and out. So, yeah, it's going to be trying times. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. But we will make it through. You just continue to hold to the light, to the truth, okay? And keep asking for wisdom. And we keep standing against oppression, against the darkness, okay? The darkness is going to rail against the light. So again, don't be surprised. This is why I have so many trolls. I stand up against Nityananda and the corruption there. And man, they'll rail against and do whatever they can. I had that kid the other day that sends me that thing, spams me his video, asks me what I think. I tell him, man, he comes back and wants to put 10 posts on my site, my other channel. Just, well, go back and do your path. Go learn something first. They come in and then they start screaming. You looked for me. You sought me out. You asked my opinion. I gave it to you. Now you're pissy and you're gonna threaten me. You're gonna do this. You're gonna do that. Really? May I remind you, I didn't seek you out. You asked. If you ask me something, I'm gonna tell you. Don't ask me if you don't want to hear the truth. Okay? No matter how unpleasant it is, I am going to tell you the truth. Okay? So don't seek me out and then get your nose out of joint when you don't hear what you want to hear. Okay? And then come making threats and this and that and, If you think I didn't know anything, why did you come and ask in the first place? Okay? Might want to sometimes look at that, Oh, my goodness. So anyway, I'm going to leave this here because we started off on one thing, but sometimes that's the way it is. You start with one thing and it opens the doors to other things. And that's what happens with choices in life. You open one door and it can lead to another door, to another door, to another door. Okay? If you want to know the truth, you really want to know God, you want to know truth, you're going to have to go through some pretty ugly landscapes that you're going to have to look at and confront and go beyond. Okay, that's the way it is. Okay, you have to look at things realistically. The world that you see here is not what, there's something so much more vast than what is seen here. Okay. So I'm going to leave this here, but thank you everyone that tunes in. I really appreciate it. I appreciate your comments and things, and I really appreciate if sometimes people will send a small donation of appreciation and say thank you, rather than just thanks, I love your channel, thanks, send a cup of coffee or $1. If everybody on the channel gave $1, and I'm sure that everybody can afford $1, we'd be doing fine. But so few ever give back other than just say, we love it, you look good, you're great. Thanks for sharing. Sharing sometimes goes two ways. If that keeps the flow going. You can't keep taking out of a well until it's empty. Okay? The well runs dry eventually when there's no give and take in place, when there's no. Okay. So again, people, let's continue to go forward. Like I said, $1. Not saying send $20, $30 in. It's not what's being said. Again, if people watching this channel, you enjoy it, you don't think it's worth $1 a month for whatever is given every day, you don't think it's worth $1 a month, what does that say? Okay, maybe think about that a little bit, people. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and I'll see you online. Aho.